In this video, we're going to do some more advanced rolling examples that you'll see in the AP Physics C mechanics, examples where we have rolling without slipping, or just more complicated examples, because I think this is one of those things that using the forces analysis is really interesting and can help you solve some really complex scenarios. Okay, let's do like a trickier, kind of more complicated scenario here. Okay, so we have a ring of mass m, and rotational inertia mr², okay? Initially sliding on a frictionless surface, so it's sliding, so it's not spinning at all because there's no friction to cause it. Moving v0 to the right. It then hits a surface with a coefficient of friction mu and begins sliding and rotating. So now it's sliding and rotating, so it's not rolling without slipping, it is slipping, and then eventually becomes rotating without sliding, okay? We want all of our answers in terms of m, r, v naught, mu, and fundamental constants. Starting from Newton's second law in either translational or rotational form, derive a differential equation that can be used to solve for the magnitude of the falling of the ring as is sliding and rotating. So this is specific for you guys in Physics C. So let's take a look how we're going to do this. So as it's during this motion here. So let's first start with our free body diagram here. Right, so we're going to have mg acting here. We're going to have a normal force here. And you got to think about which way is the friction going to go. And this is really tricky because we're sliding along this part here. So the friction's going to go this way. Okay. Why is that? Because we're going to need a torque. We're going to need it to cause an angular acceleration this way. Or you're just saying you're rubbing across the surface, just like kinetic friction. It's going to go in that direction there. So let's find. Oh, actually, we're going to use the differential equation. So we're going to do F net equals ma first for the linear velocity. So we're going to say right is positive, right? And so you only have one force pointing to the left. That's negative. So negative force of friction is equal to m times dv dt. That frictional force is, by the way, just mu times the normal force, or mu mg is equal to m dv dt. So the m's cancel, so you get minus mu g is equal to dv dt. This is the first one here. The angular velocity omega of the ring as a function of time. Okay, so now we're going to handle the angular velocity omega as a function of time. So now we're going to use the net torque equals I alpha. Now the frictional force is the only one exerting a torque from our axis of rotation. Like if this is our axis of rotation, that is the distance r. Normal force is parallel, right, to the r vector there. So it's not going to exert a torque, and gravity is acting at the center of mass, so it doesn't exert torque. So only the frictional force is going to exert a torque. And we'll make this way the positive direction, because if I make right positive, then spinning clockwise is also the positive direction. So that's a positive torque. Frictional force times r is equal to I, which is mr², and then the alpha is just d omega dt. So the r's cancel. And the frictional force you can replace with mu mg. So the m's cancel as well. So then you get mu g over r is equal to d omega dt. Just move the r down like that. Okay, so that would be our differential equation. Now derive an expression for the magnitude of the falling as the ring is sliding and rotating. The linear velocity is a function of time. So we're going to solve this differential equation. This one's pretty easy. Mu g dt. Move the dt up, you get dv here. So then we're going to integrate both sides. Now we're going to go from 0 to t here on this bounds. And for the velocity, we know that we're starting at v0 and we're going to end at a velocity v because we are already moving to the right at v0. So that's the way you can do it with bounds. So this is going to be mu gt from 0 to t. This is going to be v from v0 to v. So this is going to be minus mu gt, plugging in 0, get 0, equals v minus v0, or the velocity is v naught minus mu gt. Like that. How about the angular velocity as a function of time? Well, you're going to move that up, so you get mu g over r dt is equal to d omega. Now we integrate it. We're going to integrate it from time 0 to here. And then here we're going to integrate it because we start with no spinning at all. It's going to go from 0 to omega because it doesn't have any angular speed right now. It's not rotating yet at time 0. So we get mu g over rt is equal to just omega like that. It's omega minus 0, and then this is going to be plug in 0, you get 0 there as well. So that would be the angular velocity. Derive an expression for the time it takes the ring to travel a distance L. So we're going to travel a distance L, and L is when, now here's the tricky thing. L is when it begins to roll without slipping. So at some point, at some point, the V equals R omega once we get to rotating without sliding, right? So we have the V naught minus mu GT is eventually going to equal the radius times mu G over RT. So that R's will cancel. And you'll get, here we can solve for the time. V0 is going to be 2 mu GT. Oh, so the time's going to take V naught over 2 mu G. So that's how long it will take to travel that distance L. That's when it will begin rotating and not sliding at that point. Okay, what's the magnitude of the velocity of the ring immediately after it's traveled the distance L? So then you can just plug it back into our velocity equation. Be V naught minus mu G times V naught over 2 mu G. The mu G's cancel. You get V naught minus V naught over 2, and that's going to be 1/2 V naught. And then finally, derive an expression for the distance L. Now, this one, there's a couple of ways you can do this. I would just do the velocity equation. L is going to be the integral from 0 to this time, V naught over 2 mu G, of the velocity equation, right? That's one way to do just the displacement. You integrate the velocity over time. That's going to give you how far you travel. It's probably a way to do it with the angular one, but honestly, I think that would be kind of a little bit less intuitive. So then this is going to be integrating this is going to be V naught T minus mu G T squared over 2 from... Actually, technically, because the acceleration is constant, you probably could do kinematics for this, but no, I don't know. The acceleration is not constant. Never mind. I would just do this. 2 mu G. So then we're going to get V naught times V naught over 2 mu G minus mu G over 2 V naught over 2 mu G squared. So this is V naught squared over 2 mu G. It's going to be minus, let's see, 1/4, 1/8, 1/8, and then one of the mu G's will cancel. So then you get V naught squared over mu G. So 1/2 minus 1/8 is 3/8. V naught squared over mu G. Like that. Okay? If you found this video helpful, come check out our school community. It's got an amazing bunch of features. It's got extra videos, corrected videos, better than the ones that I have errors on YouTube. It's got multiple choice free response questions. I hold live Q&A sessions and go through more problems and I answer students' questions, help with schoolwork, all kinds of things. If you want to check it out, look in the description below or check out the website and find us in the school community. You get a 7-day free trial to give it a shot, just to check it out, see what it's like, come join some calls, and honestly, come learn AP Physics 1 even faster with us.